The night before her wedding should have felt like a dream. Instead, it became the night. Love died. Ava Sinclair stood in the doorway of the penthouse suite that overlooked the city lights. Her dress for the rehearsal dinner still hugging her figure, her hair still pinned with delicate pearls that suddenly felt heavy. She had come to surprise her fiancé. Ethan had texted that he was tired and turning in early. She had wanted to kiss him goodnight, to whisper how ready she was for forever. Opened the bedroom door quietly, soft enough to be gentle. But the sound she heard inside was not gentle at all. A laugh, a moan, a breathless whisper she had heard 1,000 times in her own moments of tenderness. Except this time, it belonged to someone else, her cousin Madeline, the girl who had grown up beside her, braided her hair, borrowed her clothes, held her secrets. Madeline was in Ethan's arms, wrapped around him like she was made to fit there, their bodies tangled in the sheets that Ava had chosen for their new home. A sound rose in Ava's throat, not a cry, not a scream, something quieter, more devastating, the sound of a heart breaking without shattering. A soft collapse. Madeline froze first. Her smile faltered, her skin flushed with guilt, and pride blended into one sickening shade. Ethan turned next, his expression shocked, then guilty, then irritated, as if Ava had interrupted something merely inconvenient. Ava did not remember walking out. She only remembered the feeling of her engagement, ring sliding off her finger, cold metal against warmer skin. She left it on the dresser beside Ethan's wallet. A symbol returned, a promise undone, a future abandoned. She stepped into the hallway barefoot, the city spinning beneath her. The wedding was canceled by mourning family whispers rose like smoke in every direction, but Ava didn't hear them. Her heart had gone silent. She moved out of the neighborhood, moved out of the version of herself that believed in forever, and found a small flower shop tucked between a bookstore and a bakery on a quiet street. The shop smelled of lavender and eucalyptus. It was peaceful. Uncomplicated flowers did not lie. Roses did not betray. Tulips did not choose someone else. Daisies did not whisper false promises in the dark. Ava arranged bouquets with steady hands. She tied ribbons with practiced ease. Customers adored her. She smiled with her lips. Her voice was gentle, her laugh polite, but her eyes never held the spark they once carried. The little bell above the shop door chimed each day as strangers came and went, each one receiving flowers touched by hands that no longer believed in love. Ava had built a new life, a safe life, a quiet life, but sometimes late at night, after the shop was locked, and the street grew still, she would press her hand against her chest as if she could feel the place where love once lived, as if she wondered whether it could ever live there again. She told herself the answer was no. She promised herself she would never believe in love again. She did not yet know that fate was already moving toward her, in the shape of a man with storm-dark eyes and a voice that would one day whisper, "Marry me tonight. Just say yes." She returned home that night with the scent of flowers still on her hands, lavender and eucalyptus clinging to her skin like memory. The city outside was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes your own heartbeat sound too loud. Ava placed her keys on the counter, but did not turn on the lights. Darkness felt easier, softer, less demanding. She made tea she would not drink, sat on the couch she barely used, stared at the wall as if answers might appear there. Love was done. She had promised herself that, but life is never interested in the promises we make to protect ourselves. Rain began to fall, soft at first, then heavy, then relentless. Somewhere out there, someone else was awake too. Someone walking into her life. One slow step at a time. The next morning, the bell above the flower shop chimed a sound she had grown used to. Predictable, comforting, but the man who walked in was not tall shoulders, broad beneath a charcoal coat that looked tailored without trying. Hair dark as stormwater eyes, even darker. Not cold, just deep like the ocean before dawn. He did not speak at once. He simply watched her. Not with hunger, not with assessment, but with recognition, as if he knew her sorrow without needing to hear it. Ava felt something inside her shift. The smallest crack in a wall she had, believed impenetrable. "How can I help you?" Her voice sounded steady, even though her heart was not. He stepped closer, his presence filling the quiet shop in a way that felt uninvited, yet inevitable. "I need flowers." His voice was low, quiet, but there was weight in it. An entire story, hidden beneath each syllable. "For someone special," Ava asked. "For someone I lost," he answered. Silence settled between them. Not awkward, just honest. "What kind of flowers?" Ava finally murmured. His gaze moved to the roses, then past them, to a single white peony in a vase near the register. A flower most customers overlooked. "That one," he said. Ava blinked, surprised. "Most people choose roses. I am not most people." There was no arrogance in the words, only truth. She wrapped the peony with gentle hands, her fingers brushing his when she tied the ribbon. A spark. Soft, unexpected. His eyes met hers. Something in him tightened as if he felt it too, and did not want to. "Thank you," he said. Before she could reply, the shop door opened again. A small girl rushed in, rain dampening her hair. Cheeks flushed. She ran straight to the man. Arms lifted. He knelt and caught her, holding her with the tenderness of someone who had loved deeply and lost painfully. Ava froze. Not because of the child, but because of the way he held her, as if protecting her from the whole world, as if he knew exactly how to cradle something fragile. Ava did not believe in signs, or fate, or second chances. But something about the child's eyes, wide and searching, stopped her breath. They were filled with the same sadness Ava saw in the mirror each morning. The girl looked at her and spoke in a whisper too soft for the world outside. "You look lonely." Ava's heart did not break, it opened. She had no idea this moment. This child. This man would change everything. She did not know. That one day, on a night filled with rain, he would stand before her, voice trembling, and whisper, "Marry me tonight," before either of us runs away from this again. The rain had stopped by the next morning, but the city still felt heavy, as if it remembered the storm. Ava swept petals from the shop floor, moving slowly, lost in thoughts she did not want to name. The man and the child had stayed with her. The way he held the little girl, the way the girl had seen straight through her armor. "You look lonely." The words would not leave her. The bell above the door chimed again. She expected a customer, a delivery, a distraction. She did not expect the same child. Standing, there alone. Her hair was braided today, her cheeks pink from walking in the cold. Her hands clutched a small paper envelope with care, as if it carried something delicate. Ava knelt to meet her eye-level sweetheart. "Where is your father?" "Not father, the..." girl whispered. "Guardian." The word felt too old for such a small mouth. She held out the paper envelope. "He said to give you this. Then he will come later." Inside, the envelope was a pressed white peony, perfect, untouched, preserved as if someone had taken time. Gentle time, Ava's breath caught. He remembered he had returned the flower she had chosen for him. But now it was hers. The child wandered the shop, touching petals with reverent fingers. Ava watched her. The gentleness, the quiet, the silence that seemed louder than words. "What is your name?" Ava asked. "Lily." The name fit her soft and blooming and fragile in the way. Only strong things are. "Do you come here often?" Ava tried to smile. "Sometimes," Lily replied. "When he is sad, this is where he breathes again." Ava's heart tightened. Flowers were her escape, her healing, her quiet. Was this place his too? The door chimed again. He stepped in. The same man, the one with the storm eyes. He froze for a second, seeing Lily there, as if he feared she had spoken truths he had not meant to share. His jaw tightened, a flicker of panic. It was gone as quickly as it came. Lily ran to him, clinging to his coat. He rested a hand on her head, protective, grounded. Ava stood slowly. The flower pressed against her palm. She did not ask what it meant. She did not need to. Some things did not need explanation. "I did not send her alone," he said, voice low. "She slipped past security before we noticed." Security. The word revealed more than he intended. He was not simply wealthy, not simply refined. There was structure around him. Protection. Or fear. Ava gestured gently. "She was safe. She's been helping me choose flowers. She has a good eye." For the first time, his expression softened fully. Not guarded, not measured, but vulnerably real. "She gets that. From her mother," he said. Silence. Heavy, unspoken pain filled the room. Lily looked up. "But Mama's gone now. Mama's with the stars." Ava felt the world tilt. Grief recognized grief. He lifted Lily into his arms, holding her with care that came from loss, not possession. "We should go," he murmured. But his eyes stayed on Ava longer than necessary. As he turned to leave, Ava felt something shift inside her. Not love. Not yet. But the faintest return of feeling. Something she thought had died the night her heart shattered outside. The street was quiet, the sky pale, a world waiting. Ava locked the shop, but stood still, hand pressed to her chest, feeling something wake. Not hope. Something deeper, the beginning of a story. She had no idea she was already in the middle of and somewhere behind her. In the shadows of a city that listened. Someone watched. Someone who had been waiting for her heart to open. Because love was not the only thing returning to her life. Danger was coming with it. The city lights flickered against the wet pavement that evening as Ava closed the flower shop. The scent of lilies and rain lingered on her skin as she stepped outside, pulling her coat tight around her. The day should have ended quietly. It didn't. A black car was parked across the street. Sleek. Expensive. Windows tinted too dark to see inside. It had been there all afternoon. She had noticed it earlier, but dismissed it as coincidence. Now, as she locked the door and the street turned still, the car door opened. He stepped out. The man with the storm-colored eyes. Only tonight, the shadows clung to him more than the rain did. He wasn't polished like before. His tie was undone. His coat hung loosely. He looked like someone who had been fighting something invisible and losing slowly. Ava's breath caught before she could stop it. "You're out late," she said, her voice even though her heart stumbled. "So are you," he replied. There were no smiles, no charm, no practiced elegance, just exhaustion and something raw, something unguarded. They walked together without speaking, footsteps echoing down the near empty street. The rain returned, soft at first, then steady. It should have driven them apart, but instead, it pushed them closer. their shoulders nearly touching. Ava finally broke the silence. "You don't look okay." He gave a soft breath, almost a laugh that didn't make it out. Almost like he'd forgotten.
"What it felt like to be seen, I'm not," he admitted. The honesty surprised her. Most men would pretend. Most would hide. He didn't. "Do you want to talk?" she asked quietly. "Not here," he said. He nodded toward a small hotel lounge tucked behind the corner.
Warm golden light glowed from inside. It looked like a place where secrets could sit safely in the dim air. They slipped into a booth by the window. The rain slid down the glass in slow streaks. A waiter brought 2 drinks without being asked, as if the man had been here before. Often. He wrapped long fingers around the glass, but didn't drink. "I avoid attachments," he said. His voice did not shake, but something in it felt fragile anyway. "I have reasons. Good ones, painful ones." Ava listened. Her chest tightened. She didn't need to ask about pain. She knew how it sounded, how it looked, how it lived. "Lily's mother," she said softly. His eyes closed for a brief moment. Not dramatic, not theatrical. Just real. We were going to build a life together. Then she was gone. Accident one moment, one breath, then nothing. He stared down at the table, his jaw tense. Lily was only a baby. Her mother's family didn't want her. Said she reminded them too much of what they lost. So I took her. I promised I'd protect her, no matter what it cost. Miava's heart ached, not with pity, but recognition. He had loved deeply, and survived it. The way survivors always looked haunted. "You're not cold," Ava whispered. "You're wounded." His eyes lifted to hers, and for the first time he didn't look like the mysterious stranger with dark secrets. He looked human. The city outside faded. The rain blurred the window. The world folded down into 2 breathing hearts, trapped in the same quiet moment. She didn't realize she was crying. Not loudly, not visibly, just tears that slipped silently down her cheeks. He reached out and brushed one away. Not a lover's touch. A promise of something quietly forming Ava. He murmured, her name sounding like something sacred in his mouth. "You don't have to be alone in your pain." The words landed softly, but they cracked something open inside her anyway. She didn't believe in love anymore. She had sworn she never would again, but sitting there across from him, hearing the truth of his loneliness, the truth of his devotion, the truth of his grief, something inside her whispered. Maybe love was not dead. Maybe it was simply waiting for someone who understood what breaking felt like. Rain poured hard that night, as if the sky itself was grieving something it could not name. The hotel lounge emptied slowly until only soft jazz and dim light remained. Ava and the man with the storm. Dark eyes sat close but not touching. Words had run out. Silence now held everything that needed to be said. He watched her. Not the way men watch to consume, but the way a person watches something precious they are afraid to break. Ava's hands trembled in her lap, though she kept her face composed. Her heart was making sounds she had not heard in so long. It frightened her. She stood first. "I should go," she whispered. The words tasted like regret before they even finished leaving her mouth. He rose too. No hesitation. No question. They stepped outside. Rain soaked them instantly. Cold, relentless, sharp enough to cut through thinking. She started walking. He followed silent close. Matching her pace like he had always known how to walk beside her, Ava finally stopped under the awning of a closed bookstore, the rain shattering down just inches away. "Tell me why you found me," she whispered. Her voice almost lost to the storm. "I didn't find you," he said. "I recognized you." Ava's breath caught. You were the only one in that room who believed in love. He continued, at that charity gala years ago, I saw the way you spoke of it, as if it were something holy. And then I saw the fire die in your eyes, the night the newspapers told your story. She stared at him. The betrayal she wanted so badly to forget had followed her farther than she knew. He stepped closer, not touching, but near enough for her to feel the warmth of him in the cold air. Love did not fail you, Ava. People failed you. The words were soft, but they hit like thunder inside her. Her eyes burned. Her chest ached. Her hands shook, and without planning, without fear, without logic, she said the truth. She had never spoken aloud. I am afraid that if I feel again, I will drown. He did not flinch. Then I will breathe for both of us, before she could respond. Before she could run. Before she could hide behind old wounds. He reached into his coat and pulled out a silver ring. Simple, unadorned, beautiful in its sincerity. He held it between them. Rain dripping from his lashes. Soot-soaked. Heart exposed. Marry me, he said. Not someday. Not eventually. Tonight. Her breath shattered. You don't even know me. His voice broke for the first time since she met him. I know how your silence sounds. I know you arrange flowers like you are trying to put the world back together. No, you never look at roses, because they remind you of promises people don't keep. I know you hold your own hands when you're lonely. I know you're tired of hurting. A tear fell. She didn't know if it was rain or heartbreak or hope reborn. You deserve a life that doesn't make you bleed to prove you're alive. He whispered. Ava closed her eyes. Her heart was beating. Not dead. Not gone. Just sleeping. He waited. Unmoving. Not demanding. Just offering. Say, yes, he breathed. Say yes, and we begin again. Not perfect. Not painless. But real. She opened her eyes, looked at him, and for the first time in so long, she allowed herself to feel. Yes, she whispered, and the storm kept falling. But inside her, something finally rose, alive again. Unbroken. Becoming new. Wedding happened quietly under the shelter of the hotel's private chapel. No guests, no music, no celebration. Just two broken hearts choosing each other in the quiet dark. Ava wore no gown, just the same rain-soaked coat. He removed his jacket and placed it around her shoulders during the vows. A gesture that felt far more sacred than diamonds, or silk. When the minister asked if they chose one another, they did not speak. They simply looked into each other's eyes. And the answer was already there. When the final words were spoken, he took her hand, not as possession, but as promise. They stepped back into the storm, husband and wife. He drove them away from the city, past buildings that glittered with secrets, past the quiet river that reflected, the moon past everything familiar. Hours later, the world opened into wild coastline, where the ocean roared like something ancient and alive. A private estate rested there, made of stone and glass, built into the cliffs as if it had grown from the rock itself. This is where I go to breathe, he said quietly. Ava stood in the doorway, the sound of waves below crashing like thunder wind sweeping through her hair. Her heart felt too full, too fragile, too newly awakened. The home was beautiful, but not in a cold way. Photographs of Lily were tucked between shelves of old books, soft blankets folded on couches, rooms that felt lived in. Loved and protected. Ava turned to him. She wanted to ask his name, not the name the world called him, but who he truly was. When the last wall fell, he beat her to the question. Do you regret saying yes? His voice. Quiet. She looked at the ocean wild. Untamed. Just like the choice she had made. No, she whispered. I regret nothing. The smallest smile touched his lips. Not victory, relief. He guided her into the kitchen, made tea with hands that had known violence and tenderness. He moved carefully around her, as if she were something precious. Not fragile, but worth protecting. When Lily's laugh echoed from the hallway, Ava froze. She had not expected her tonight. Lily ran forward, barefoot in pajamas patterned with stars, her little hands reaching for him. He lifted her easily, holding her against his chest. Ava watched, an unexpected ache forming behind her ribs. Not jealousy, something deeper. Recognition. She had belonged nowhere for so long, and now, here. In a place she had never seen until tonight. She felt something she had forgotten. Existed. Home Lily blinked sleepily at Ava. You married him? Ava nodded. Yes, the child did. Not question. Did not doubt. She simply reached out and placed a small hand on Ava's cheek. Warm. Soft, trusting. I wanted you to stay, Lily whispered. Ava felt her heart break open, not the way it shattered before, but the way a locked door opens at last. They sat together by the fire. The three of them, Lily slept against Ava's side. His hand rested gently over Ava's outside. The sea roared inside. There was silence that did not hurt, but peace never arrives without shadows waiting to reclaim what it loses far below the cliff. Hidden by the night, a black car had followed them, engine off lights, dark watching waiting. Someone knew where they were, someone who should not. The past had not been left behind. It had followed, and it was closer than any of them realized. The ocean thundered below the cliff, carrying secrets and warnings in every crashing wave. Ava woke before sunrise, the house still wrapped in quiet dark. Lily curled against her side like a small warm star. He slept in the chair beside them. His head bowed, his hand still resting where it had been placed over Ava's the night before. For the first time in a long time, Ava felt safe. But safety is a fragile thing when the past has teeth. A soft sound echoed from outside. Not loud, but sure the shift of gravel under a deliberate step. Ava moved, carefully rising, so she would not wake Lily. The window glass was cold under her palm. As she looked out into the fading night, a car was there. Black. Unmoving. Waiting. A presence. Not a coincidence. Her breath tightened. Something old inside her stirred. Fear. Not the sharp kind, but the deep, quiet kind that remembers. She heard him behind her before he spoke, his voice low and steady, no surprise in it. You saw it, he said, not a question. Ava nodded slowly. Someone followed us. He stepped closer, the faint warmth of him steadying her. He did not look shocked. He looked prepared. This house is not hidden from the world. Ava. I disappeared, but not everyone accepted it. Some will always come looking. He turned and walked. To the study Ava followed. His movements were calm, but the air around him changed. The softness she had seen the night before tucked itself away. In its place stood the man. The world once feared. The man newspapers whispered about. The man built in. Silence and steel, he opened a drawer. Not fast. Not frantic. Precise. Inside lay a sealed envelope already addressed. Ava did not need to open it to feel the weight inside. You prepared for this, she said softly. He lifted his gaze to hers. I have been preparing. Since the day I took Lily into my arms, there are people who do not want her with me. People who see children as leverage instead of lives. People who think everything can be purchased or owned. Ava felt something rise inside her. Not fear, fury. Lily's. Small footsteps padded into the room. her eyes still heavy with sleep. She reached for Ava without hesitation. Ava lifted her, held her close. The child's heartbeat fluttered like a bird under her hand. She looked at him, not as the man who whispered, "Marry me." Not as the stranger from the flower shop, but as a man carrying a war on his shoulders. "Tell me what we do," Ava said, her voice steady, her arms around Lily like a shield made of love and bone. He stepped toward them, his eyes dark but no longer lonely. "We stay together," he said. "No matter who comes, no matter what they want." Ava nodded once. No fear left, only resolve. Outside. The car engine started, not approaching, not leaving, just reminding them. The past had found them, but this time, they were not facing it alone. The morning arrived with a gray sky and a wind that felt like it carried warnings. Ava stood in the kitchen cutting strawberries for Lily, while the house remained unnervingly still. She kept glancing toward the windows, expecting movement, expecting footsteps, expecting the past to kick down the door at any moment. He had not slept since before sunrise. She could see it in his shoulders, his jaw, the quiet way he moved through the house as if listening for something unseen. When Lily finished her breakfast, she ran to the living room and began stacking wooden blocks, humming softly. A sound too pure for the storm that hung in the air. Ava finally spoke. "Tell me who is out there." He looked up slowly. No hesitation now. No protected silence. His voice was quiet, but the truth inside it hit like a hard wind. Marcus Hale. The name meant nothing to Ava, but the way he said it made her entire body go. Still, Marcus was my partner. Once he continued, "Before Lily's mother died, we built everything together, business power, influence. But power changes men, and grief destroys the rest." He walked to the window and stared at the restless ocean. "When Lily's mother passed, I left everything. I walked away from the empire. We built." Marcus did not forgive that. To him, Lily is not a child. She is leverage. Ava's hand tightened around the edge of the counter. Her heartbeat felt like thunder in her ribs. So he wants her, not for love, not for family, but to force you back. Yes, Ava felt sick. She looked toward the living room where Lily laughed at her collapsing block tower. No. The word left Ava before she even thought. A vow, a warning, a promise. He turned to her, his eyes dark, focused, grounded. "I won't let him take her. I will burn down every empire I ever built before that happens." Their eyes held. Ava did not doubt him. Not for a second. But the world rarely bows to love without a fight. The front gate camera chimed. A soft bell. Too ordinary to announce something so dangerous. A black SUV rolled up the gravel drive. Expensive, polished, confident. He didn't move toward the door. He didn't panic. He simply placed himself between Ava and the entryway. His body, a barrier without needing to be asked. The doorbell rang. Not rushed. Not threatening. Just patient. Like a man certain he would be welcomed. He opened the door but didn't step aside. Marcus Hale stood there. Tall, perfectly tailored suit. Hair slicked back with effortless arrogance. A smile that never touched his eyes. He looked past the man he once called brother straight at Ava. So this is the new wife. Ava felt the air change. The way animals feel storms moments before they strike. She did not step back. She did not lower her gaze. She simply shifted her arm so Lily was behind. Her Marcus smiled. Amused. Assessing. "Cold, I'm only here to talk," he said. But Ava could hear the lie under every smooth word. He wasn't here to talk. He was here to take. The man she had married stepped forward. No rage. No raised voice. Just a warning. So calm, it vibrated through the floor. "If you come near my family again, I will make sure you never speak another word in this world." Marcus's smile did not fade. He only tilted his head, calculating. Everyone has something to lose, old friend. Then his eyes slid back to Ava, slow, unsettling, curious. Especially her Lily let out the smallest frightened sound. Not loud, but enough. Ava's body moved faster than her mind. She stepped fully in front of Lily, her voice steady, her fear burning into something fierce. Stay away from her. Marcus blinked, not expecting resistance. Not from her. Interesting, he murmured. He turned, walked back to the SUV. Calm, confident. The engine started. The car rolled away, but the threat did not leave with it. It hung in the air, thick, inevitable. The house was silent. Only Lily's shaking breaths broke it. Ava held her close, held her tight, held her like she had held herself that night. Her own world had ended. "No one will take you," Ava whispered. "Not ever." And for the first time, Lily believed her, but love does not win without cost. The war had begun, and the past was no longer knocking. It had stepped inside the door. Night fell like a curtain, heavy and full of warning. The ocean that once sounded beautiful now sounded like something ancient and restless, pacing in the dark. Ava stood at the large window holding Lily in her arms, while he checked every lock, every entry, every blind spot of the house. The storm had passed, but the danger had not. Lily clung to Ava's shirt, tiny fingers trembling. She didn't cry, she didn't speak, but her shaking told the whole story. Ava brushed her hair, gently humming a tune. She did not remember learning a sound her mother used to make when she was small. A sound that meant, "I am here. I am here. I am here." The house was quiet except for the ocean wind. Too quiet, like the calm before something breaks. He walked into the room. Finally, his movements slower than usual, weighted by decisions he had not wanted to make. "We cannot stay here," he said. Ava looked up. "Where will we go? Somewhere they cannot reach us. Somewhere they will not think to look." Lily lifted her head, her voice small. "Are we running?" Ava pressed a kiss to her forehead. "We are protecting our family." The word hung in the air. Family once broken, now rebuilt. Now threatened, he began gathering essentials. No luggage, no suitcases, no trace of departure. Ava placed Lily in a soft blanket and held her tight against her chest. Her heart beat steady, steadier than she felt. But as they moved through the house toward the back exit that led to the cliffside path, something felt wrong. A shift in the air. A stillness, too. Deep. He froze first. His hand lifted slightly. A silent command to stop. Ava froze. Lily clutched tighter. He moved with silent precision toward the hallway. And then they heard it. A soft creak. A footstep. Inside the house. Lily buried her face in Ava's. Shoulder Ava held her tighter, her breath shallow. Her heart thundered. He stepped into the hall and confronted the shadow there. Marcus did not come alone. 2 men stood behind him, dressed in black faces, expressionless. Not here for words, not here for warnings. Marcus smiled as though this were a social visit. "You did not think I would simply drive away, did you?" Ava stepped back, protecting Lily behind her body. But Marcus's eyes followed every movement, cold, patient, hungry for power that was never his. He looked at the man she married. "We built everything together, and you walked away. Because of love." His voice sharpened. "Love makes you weak." He lifted his hand, and one of the men stepped forward. Ava felt something rise inside her. Not fear, not panic, something fierce, untamed, unbreakable. She shifted Lily into one arm, and with the other she grabbed the nearest thing within reach, a vase of white lilies. She swung it with all the strength of every heartbreak she had ever survived. The vase shattered against the man's temple. He dropped, not unconscious, but stunned. Enough time. Enough space run. He shouted. Ava turned, holding Lily tight, feet pounding across the wooden floor toward the back terrace. The wind slammed her hair against her face. The cliff path was steep, narrow, unforgiving, but she did not stop. She would not stop behind her inside the house. Voices collided, shouts, struggle, chaos. Ava did not look back. She could not. Lily cried her first tear, a tiny sound, barely there, but Ava heard it like thunder. It did not break her. It made her faster. The cliffs were dark. The sea raged. The world narrowed to this moment, this breath, this choice behind them. A door slammed open. Marcus's voice rose. Find them. Ava held Lily tighter, her heart wild, her feet bleeding against stone. But she kept going. She would run through fire for this child. She would face oceans, storms, men who thought power made them gods. She had died once in love, but now she burned alive in it. Nothing, not betrayal, not grief, not Marcus Hale, would take her family from her now. The cliffs were slippery beneath Ava's feet, the night air cold enough to bite through her skin, but she did not slow. She held Lily close, the child's small heartbeat pounding against her own behind. Them shouts rose, footsteps, broken branches under heavy weight. The world had shrunk into two choices: run or lose everything. He was fighting inside the house. Ava could hear it in the echoes carried on the wind. Not chaos, control. The kind of control that came from a man who had already lost too much to lose again. Ava reached the narrow turn on the cliffside path. Her foot slipped. Her heel skidded. The world tilted. A strong hand caught her arm just before she fell. Not Marcus. Not one of his men. Him. He stood there, chest heaving, blood on his lip, eyes burning with something wild, relief and fury intertwined. You ran, he said, breathless. Ava tightened her grip on Lily. You told me to. He looked at both of them, his wife and the child he had sworn to protect. And for a moment the world paused. Even the ocean held its breath. Then Marcus appeared at the top of the cliff path, no longer composed, rage carving sharp lines across his face. Enough, Marcus shouted. Enough running. Enough pretending. Give me the girl and I will let you walk away. Lily buried her face into Ava's neck. Ava stepped backward instinctively. He stepped forward in front of them, blocking Marcus with his body. I will never give her to you. His voice, calm, unshaking, unbroken. Marcus laughed, cold, bitter, damaged. You think love makes you strong. He stepped closer. Rain beginning to fall again. The first drops heavy and slow. Love makes you blind. It makes you weak. It leaves you defenseless. Ava swallowed, her voice steady. No love makes you willing. Marcus turned his eyes to her, and in that moment he understood. Ava was not a wound. She was a shield. She was the reason he could not be broken again. Marcus lunged. The struggle was not drawn out. It was fast. Violent, born of years of betrayal and loss. He struck first, but he struck back harder. The strength in him did not come from anger. It came from purpose. Marcus stumbled. His foot slid near the cliff's edge, a final miscalculation. He fell. No scream, no sound, just the sea taking him. The world went silent, except for the waves below. Endings are rarely loud. Sometimes they simply are. Ava lowered to her knees, holding Lily close. He knelt beside her, forehead resting against hers. breathing her in, breathing the promise of now. They did not speak. They didn't need to. They had survived. Time passed. The house became filled with warmth again. Not fear, not tension. Just life. Lily grew, her laughter filling halls once held in grief. Ava tended the gardens overlooking the sea. Flowers bloomed. In every color of forgiveness, every shade of rebirth, he rebuilt his world differently this time. Not from power, not from empire, but from the steady pulse of home. Ava's hand in his, Lily's laughter in the air. 1 year later, they stood on the cliff, where everything had changed. Wind, soft, ocean calm, Lily, holding both their hands. He looked at Ava. No storm in him now. Only light. Only love. I did not save you, Ava. You saved me. Ava smiled. Not the polite smile she once wore, but a full smile. Alive and warm and real. We saved each other. He kissed her slowly, gently, like a vow reborn. Lily looked up at them, her eyes bright. Are we safe now? Ava lifted her, held her close. Always. The ocean sang below them, not of endings but beginnings. And for the first time, in a long time, Ava believed in love again. Not the kind that hurts, but the kind that heals, the kind that stays, the kind that chooses every day. Their story did not start perfect, but it ended true, and that was enough.